Hello, hello, my friends. Can you believe that we are already into the month of March? I can't. I feel like I was just talking about Christmas and holiday, and yet here we are. Spring is upon us. Well, I think it is. Winter is trying to hold on, at least where I live. And I shouldn't be complaining about that because I live in Arizona and summer is brutally hot here. But I am looking forward to spring. I'm ready for a little bit warmer weather. I'm ready for all of the flowers. I'm ready to open up my windows and get all that fresh air in. But before we can do that, I thought it would be helpful to look back on some of the candles that I have burned in the months of January and February and give you just some final thoughts about them. I particularly like Empties videos because while dedicated reviews are great, a lot of the time I personally and a lot of my fellow candle reviewers will review candles usually at the halfway point, and we all know that with some brands, they're great for that first half of the burn, but how do they work out the rest of the time? Before we jump into the video, I just want to give a quick welcome to any new viewers or subscribers. Hi, my name is Katie. Thank you for checking out my channel today. I do my candle empties a little bit differently in that I have very limited space in my home. So once I use up a candle, I generally will take some B-roll footage to show you what the candle looks like. So you will be seeing that coming in as I am talking about each candle. I don't have them right in front of me here. So a lot of things, like I've taken down notes as I've gone, but yeah, you're not gonna see me like sniffing for like a final memory of it. Pretty much a lot of it is emblazed in my memory here, but yeah, you will see some B-roll inserted throughout the video here. So let's go ahead and take a look back on some of these candles. All right, we're gonna go ahead and talk about some holiday candles since that is what I burned up a lot in January. You know, we always have that spillover, and quite honestly, there's a lot of holiday scents that while they are marketed as Christmas scents, that's a holiday that I celebrate. Even though they are marketed as a holiday scent, to me, some of them are more reminiscent of things that I would enjoy after Christmas, and so you will see that reflected in a lot of my empties here. I also like to talk about a lot of these candles because I know that while I am a seasonal burner, a lot of you are not. Some of you are like, girl, I'm gonna be burning pumpkin in May, and I don't really care because that's what I enjoy, and I always say more power to you for that. If any of these candles are still currently available, I will make sure that I have them linked in the description box down below. All right, first candle that I'm going to talk about that I finished burning up was Kringle Candles Away in a Manger. Now, I loved this scent. This was a very orange forward scent. This, if you are familiar with my friend Melanie, Mr. Kong's mom, was one of the tester scents that they had put out for her holiday collaboration candle that should be coming out at the end of this year, hopefully. And anyways, Melanie did not choose this specific fragrance blend for her candle, but she did tell Mick Kittredge, she said, please use this one because it's glorious. And she was right. Now, this was a fabulous candle for me. The burn was clean. This was in their 3-wick 100% soy jar. It burned cleanly all the way down. I did not have any wick issues. I didn't have any sooting issues. That one was a very strong, by the time we were done with it, and I actually have another one in backup that I actually broke out the other day because we were having some cold, rainy weather and I was just craving that type of scent. That one is a good, strong 9 for me. I mean, that really, really good. I do have a dedicated review on that. In fact, I want to let you know that as I'm going through here, I've made note of all of the candles that I do have a dedicated video on for a more in-depth review. So if I don't give strength and throw or all that kind of stuff on some of these candles, I just know that it's because I've already done a dedicated review on them, and I will let you know which candles I already have reviews on. So Away in a Manger, there is a dedicated review. I do have a Kringle playlist, all the playlists, everything like that will be linked in the description box down below if you want to take a further deep dive into any of these candles. But yes, Away in a Manger, I definitely will repurchase. In fact, I did repurchase that one after the holidays. Fabulous, can't say enough about it. Another candle that I finished burning up is a classic among the Homeworx lineup, and it is Hot Cider Donut. Now, I do believe that this is a candle that they now thankfully seem to be keeping in stock on the homeworx.shop website. I think it's just well beloved. Now, I think a lot of people think of this as being like a fall scent because they hear cider in there, but actually to me, this is a beautiful year-round scent if you are a gourmand lover. I've always called this my Disneyland candle. It reminds me of Disneyland Main Street and the churros, and I don't know, there's just something about it that just lends such a warm vibe. But this one in particular was a very strong performer for me. Now I will want to give the caveat that that particular candle was poured in August of 2021. It was not a 2022 pour. So I feel like that candle was maybe like one of the last before they started having some issues. The issues of 2022, let's be honest, 2022 was not a kind year to Homeworx. And while I think that the brand is trending back on track, you're gonna see in here when I'm talking about some of my Homeworx candles that there were some good performers and then there were some that were not. This was a good performer for me. The only thing that I will say on this one was that I did lose a wick in the last 3 burns of it. I was still able to get enough out of that candle because that candle on its own is typically a good solid 8, you know, in terms of a strength and throw. It's a very strong candle. And so I feel like it was still able to hold its weight even with a wick down. And like I said, that didn't happen during the first part of the burn. It really only happened about that last third of the wax to get through. That is a candle that I always recommend if you are a gourmand lover and wanting to try out the Homeworx lineup because it's one of my favorites. All right, another new Homeworx candle that I finished up burning, you'll kind of see a theme here, is Christmas Joy. Now, obviously, again, this was marketed as a Christmas candle, but I personally like those spicy orange pomander scents more so for after Christmas. The month of December, I generally just focus on tree scents because that's just what I enjoy, spicy tree scents. But a lot of these, again, like I said earlier, are scents that are marketed as holiday scents, but I like them afterwards. Anyways, this was an attempt, I believe, from Homeworx to be like their orange pomander scent. I do believe that it was a little bit heavier on the spice note than it was on the orange citrus note. Like Away in a Manger is definitely more orange forward. This was more spice forward, but with the orange in the background. So you know, do with that what you want. This one did sell out pretty quickly on the Homeworx website, and I know a couple of you were able to pick it up in like TJ Maxx, Marshall's, Home Goods, but this one is obviously not currently available. I hope it will make a return this next year. I'm not exactly sure if it's one that I would just be clamoring to run out and buy again. I did enjoy it, but I think that there's a couple of other scents in that fragrance profile that I preferred a little bit more. The strength and throw around that one, I'm trying to remember because I did do a dedicated review on that. Again, I have a Homeworx, speaking too fast, you guys. I do have a Homeworx candle review playlist. There we go, got the words out. And that is down there. The only thing that I will say was a pretty common thing for me with candles that were poured in July 2022 from Homeworx is that it did develop some puny wicks during the last third of the burn, which again is why I say I always follow up with these empties videos because, you know, at the time that I did a dedicated review on this, things were going quite well. But yeah, it did develop some puny wicks, which is why you will see a little bit of wax in there still. All right, let's go ahead and move forward to another Homeworx candle. I do believe that this was the first time that it was offered in this packaging. It was on the homeworx.shop website, and I think, again, it was in some retailers like TJ Maxx, Marshall's, Home Goods. It was Cinnamon French Toast, okay? Well, this fragrance, I'm going to be really honest with you, it's in the same like fragrance profile as Hot Cider Donut. This is another one that I have a dedicated candle review on. I enjoyed it. It did have some pulling out issues for me, which again, I'm finding that the candles that were poured like in September or October of 2022, while they are performing a little bit better than like last summer's pours, one of the things that I'm noticing in common with a lot of those is that the initial pulling out period is a little bit longer, meaning that the first time you light that candle up, You may have to let it burn for about 4 hours, which is a little bit longer than I typically like to burn my Homeworx candles. I typically like to burn those for about 3 hours and then extinguish them. But I am finding that if I have candles with that September pour date, I am having to let them cool out a little bit longer. And in fact, it's not listed in here, but I actually do have a Homeworx candle that it is the first time that I have actually had to foil wrap it to get it to pull out quicker. So just be aware if you have any candles still in your collection that have that September pour date on it, you might want to just pay attention and be aware that it's going to take a little bit longer to pull out. So don't light it if you have to be somewhere in 2 hours. Anyways, getting back on track here. It did develop puny wick syndrome at the very end. Now I did say that I am finding that some success in not trimming the wicks on the Homeworx candles. However, one of the problems with that is that then if they develop those big carbon balls, it either makes the wicks want to lean, or when I light them, those carbon balls will explode into the pool of wax. And then it's not so bad for the first half of the burn, but when you get to that second half of the burn, sometimes it can take on that carbon sooty smell. So I don't know. I think Homeworx is trying to improve. I hope they nail it this year, but I don't know. That was a little bit disappointing for me. One that was not disappointing for me, and another one that I have a dedicated review on, is Winter Fireside. I have always talked about this being my quote-unquote gateway candle into the world of Homeworx. This is a very, I don't want to say smoky, because some people hear that and they're immediately turned off. This is like a very clove and incense and firewood heavy. It's actually one of my very favorite winter fragrances from Homeworx. It's one that I will purchase every year. In fact, since I have discovered it, I want to say that was close to 5 years ago. I have repurchased it every winter going forward. That one that I just finished up had a particularly beautiful burn on it. Again, that one had a July 2021 pour date on it, and I did not have any issues with it. It was a very strong performer for me. All right, let's switch it up to another brand. I might have, yeah, I do have some Homeworx. We're just bouncing all around here right now, but let's go ahead and talk about Kringle Candles Snowy Bridge. Now, I do want to just give an upfront disclaimer here in the video because I think it's important to always be honest. I am a Kringle Candle ambassador. So, you know, I do have a discount code in the box down below that will save you 15% off of your order with them, as long as it's not like a super good, like sometimes they run those really, really amazing sales like the ones that they do like on Black Friday or, you know, the day after Christmas, those kinds of things. But for just a lot of their like regular sales, or just if there's not a sale going on and you feel that you want to purchase the product, I do have a code. It is an affiliate. It does give me a little bit of commission on that, and you are free to use it if you want to, and there's no hard feelings if you don't want to. But the reason I'm saying that is because just because I am an ambassador does not always mean that I am going to say glowing things about every single candle. And the candle that I'm going to talk about now is Snowy Bridge. Now, I actually really love the fragrance of this one. Again, it is another beautiful after Christmas scent when you're still wanting something a little bit reminiscent of like that warm, I don't want to say warm wood, but like you want the warmth that kind of contrasts with the cold weather going on outside. And this one has a beautiful, it's like a fresh, clean type of scent. Not like fresh laundry type of scent. It's very hard for me to describe, but it's, there's something about it. I like that the term is Snowy Bridge because it actually does make me think of being on a cold like railroad trestle or something like that, like the wood when it gets snowy, when there's like, well, when it's wet. Wood does not get snowy on its own, but you guys know what I mean. When there's snow on the wood or it's wet and there's just the cool, crisp air, but this is not necessarily a cool candle. It's a very hard candle fragrance for me to describe. I love the fragrance, and I really hope that this winter or going forward that they will release this one in the 3-wick 100% soy formula, because I had it in the large 2-wick tumbler and I had some issues with it. The strength and throw, I could barely even smell it, you guys. This one was like a strength of maybe a 2.5, 3. I could barely even smell it. Now, the funny thing is that I burned it in my bedroom. So typically when I burn candles, I will burn them in my living room. And then if I'm not getting great performance from them or from them in this open concept room, I will generally move them into my closed concept bedroom so that way I can enjoy them a little bit more and then I can get a little bit better idea. Even in my closed concept bedroom, I could not smell it very much, except for it would throw into my master bathroom. So like, it was weird. I couldn't smell it in the bedroom, but I could smell it in my bathroom, even though it was burning in the bedroom. Kind of a weird dynamic going on there. I was disappointed in that one not being very strong. In fact, then I thought, well, let me go ahead and stick it in my candle crock because maybe when it's warming like that, I'll get a better performance. And I got slightly better strength on it, but I don't know if I just got a dud on that one. Let me know in the comments down below if you have had that candle and if yours did well for you, because then maybe I just got a bad pour or something like that. But that is one that I am optimistic about repurchasing if it comes back in that 3-wick 100% soy, because I'm really loving that line. All right, another candle that I love the fragrance of. I have actually repurchased it. You know, just like I just said, Homeworx Winter Fireside is going to be one that I repurchase going forward. This is a fragrance from Kringle that I repurchase every winter, and it is Cozy Cabin. This one is like, it is what the picture on the label says it is. You envision yourself in a nice cabin up in the forest, up in the pines. There's snow around you. You go outside and you pick up that wet firewood, and it just, oh, you smell, oh. I have a thing for like wet wood, I guess, apparently, which I don't know, but I almost made an office joke and I'm not going to do it. No. Okay. Let's get our minds back in where they need to be. Oh boy. All right. So anyways, I like the smell of like wet firewood, but then there's the cozy warmth of a cabin. There's a slight hint of maple in there, but I wouldn't say that it's like a maple dominant candle. Absolutely glorious fragrance. Now, I do have a dedicated review on that one, and in that I did say, or I'm not sure if I said it in the review, but I will say it here, that is one that I am glad has become available in the 3-wick 100% soy, because that is another candle that I wanted to be stronger for me, and it just was not. So I didn't really have any issues with it, other than there was a little tiny amount of soot towards the end, and I think part of that had to do with me just probably burning that candle a little bit longer than I should have. The Kringle 100% soy formula, you don't really have to babysit it, and you can get away with burning it a little bit longer. Usually, like most candles, it's like a 3-hour burn window. My Kringle candles, that soy formula, I find that I can generally get away with about, I want to say like 5-hour burn time, you know, even 6. Some of them you can really get away with a little bit longer burn time, even though I wouldn't recommend making a regular habit of that. There's a little bit of grace given there. All right. Bath & Body Works Cinnamon Spiced Vanilla and Hot Cocoa and Cream. I do believe that this was a Candle Day release. You are saying that Bath & Body Works is starting to come out with more of these like blend lines, and I'm here for it. I actually really like a lot of these blends that they've come up with. This was a really nice scent. If it does make a return, I would consider picking it up again next fall or winter. It's not one that I would really burn in the spring or summer because, like I said, I'm a seasonal burner. But I actually really liked it, and I found that this was a beautiful combination in the mornings for me to burn alongside hot cider donut or cinnamon French toast, both of those Homeworx candles that I just talked about. The strength and throw was pretty good on it. I would give it about like 7.5. It was a nice performing candle. But like a lot of Bath & Body Works candles, it did develop puny wick syndrome on me about the last 1/3 to 1/4 of the way down on the jar. So that was a little bit of an unfortunate turn of events. Also, I find that when my candles develop kind of that puny wick syndrome, they do start to soot a little bit more. So into the candle crock it went, and I lived out the rest of its life there. All right, another Kringle candle that we're going back to is Winter Wonder. Now, this was in the 3-wick 100% soy. Another fabulous candle that I really enjoyed. Clean burn, did not give me any issues whatsoever. I really enjoyed pairing that candle with, what was it, Snowbird? I think that's the one that it was, Snowbird. It kind of had like a berry note to it. That scent, I will say, is a very cool, in the snowy forest, love it for post-Christmas. It's not a warm tree scent. It's very much a cool winter, not minty, not like winter mint type of scent. But if you are somebody, the best comparison I have for it is if you like Homeworx Snow-Tipped Pine, it's in that realm. I really, really enjoy it. It is one, I think I may have picked up another one of them after Christmas. Trying to remember. I think I did because I enjoyed it that much. Did not give me any issues at all. It was a good solid 8.5 in terms of strength and throw. Really good performer. And yeah, highly recommend that one. Oh, this video is already getting long and I apologize, but just remember this is 2 months worth of Candle Empties and I'm gonna go ahead and try to like speed it up a little bit here. All right. Bath & Body Works Winter. I feel like this is not a scent that I really have to describe because it's been around for quite some time. It's a lovely scent. I really enjoy it. However, this version of it, which is unfortunate because the packaging was really beautiful on this. I really liked the packaging. This variation of it actually did not perform very well for me. It only was about a strength and throw of around a 6 for me. Just didn't do it for me. And it burned kind of dirty and you will notice that there were still some long wicks and what left. So this one did not develop puny wicks. However, it took on kind of like a sooty burning type of smell once I hit the halfway point of it, and then it just was not enjoyable. So I just decided to call it and be like, nope, done with that one. All right, back to Kringle Tea and Cookies. I do have a dedicated review on this one. This was a new like holiday release last year. And it's funny because this is a scent that I wasn't so sure about and it grew on me over time. I do have, like I said, a dedicated review on this one, but you can see that it burned cleanly for me all the way down. No issues. I really enjoyed pairing this one with Kringle Candle's Herbal Tea. The combination of both of them just lent that vibe of like tea, well, tea and cookies essentially, you know. I really enjoyed burning it in the morning. There was a mix of warmth, but also just, I don't know, I just really, really enjoyed it. It is one that I would consider picking up again as we move back into fall and winter in the months ahead. Again, remember right now when I'm purchasing, I'm thinking of the immediate future. So, but it is one that I would recommend on there. All right. Okay, you guys, here was a big fail for me. And I feel like a lot of people really enjoyed this fragrance and I thought I was going to love this one, but I did not. Bath & Body Works Smoked Vanilla Whiskey. No. I did not like it. I don't know what was wrong with my nose because I know other people like this. There was something about it when it started burning that I got, not exactly, but kind of this like, it was almost so, there was like an acidic note to it that, I don't know, I didn't really like it. The acidity in it reminded me of cat urine. I don't know why, but it just did. And you know, here's what I'm going to give this disclaimer here, okay? A lot of us who have had the virus and lost our taste and smell at some point over the last 3 years, some of you guys will probably chime in with me here that you will notice that maybe your sense of taste and smell like has been off ever since then. Like even if you've regained it, I do know that there's a lot of people have said like, wow, I used to really enjoy that fragrance and I can't anymore. Even just the other day, I was out to lunch with a friend and she was saying her husband, we had ordered onion rings and she was like, yeah, my husband, he can't handle onions ever since having had that. Don't know why. He's like, they just don't taste the same. So I just want to say that, you know, if you really enjoyed this and you did not smell that, your nose is probably just fine. Mine is probably damaged. But I didn't really like it. I tried putting it in the candle crock thinking maybe it was, you know, something to do with the flame warming it. Because, you know, we all know sometimes when we stick a candle into the crock, the fragrance can change a little bit. Still didn't really enjoy it. So even though I have a fragrance candle that now I can't give away for anybody else to burn, what I am going to do with it is I'm actually going to melt it in my crock outside and I'm going to make fire starters with it. My husband one of his hobbies is woodworking, so he always has a lot of sawdust left around. And one of the things that you can do with a lot of your wax, if you like to melt them and you are trying to look for a way to like repurpose that wax, is that you can melt it down, get like a muffin tin and get like some of those paper muffin cups, Put your sawdust in there, then pour your melted wax over, let it harden, and then just stick those in a container and you can use those as fire starters. So I think that's what I'm going to do because we do have a nice outdoor fire pit. So that's my plan for that, but that will definitely not be a repurchase. All right, a candle that, oh my goodness, love, 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 love the fragrance of, but there's a but here. Okay. Pistachio and toasted vanilla. This was another Bath & Body Works. It feels like it just showed up for a minute and then it was gone because it was so popular. A lot of people really loved this fragrance. This one reminds me a lot of, if you were familiar with Homeworx's Almond Flower, that was out, I want to say in like 2018, 2019. I loved that fragrance back then. This is very reminiscent of it. Pistachio, that's a note that I wish more candle brands would get on board with because love it. However, what I will say is that this candle unfortunately developed puny wick syndrome halfway through. In fact, it's funny, I did my candle review and raved about it, and then not even joking you, 2 burns later, it started developing that puny wick syndrome on me, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. So what you will see that I did was I actually went ahead and poured out the wax. I have 2 of those, and so both of them kind of developed that puny wick syndrome on me, so I went ahead and I combined my wax into one jar so then that way I can warm it in my candle crock. I will say that when I warm it in the candle crock, it's almost borderline cloying, which is a shame because I've decided, well, I'll only burn that, or I'll warm that one when I can have my windows open because it was just a little bit too strong for me. But the fragrance itself is absolutely stunning. All right, this was a candle from the Homeworx Valentine's collection. This is the scent Be Mine. I did a dedicated review on this one. That one's gonna be a one and done for me. It just was not a fragrance that I particularly enjoyed, but I'm glad that I gave it a shot. Something about it just smelled kind of sour to me. This one also, I believe, had a September, it was either September or October pour date on it, and did develop those puny wicks about the last third of the way down on the burn. It was not one that I was like, wow, this is worth salvaging and I'm gonna chunk up this wax. Nope, I was like, no, we're just gonna go ahead and call it a day. It did also develop a little bit of sooting on the sides there because I was trying to get it to, you know, pool out and burn a little bit more. That was another one that kind of had some pooling out issues the very first burn, but subsequent burns were okay. It did pool out effectively, but yeah, last part of the burn just wasn't that great. Another fragrance that I love from the Homeworx lineup, and it is one that I always repurchase every winter. It is actually one of my favorite fragrances to burn in January and February if when I'm craving kind of like a sweet gourmand, I'm ready to get out of the heavily spiced gourmands. This would be Spun Vanilla Sugar. Now this particular candle was an August 2021 pour, so it did burn beautifully for me. It was a solid 7.5, 8, so it was a good one for me. Burned well. I do have this fragrance in the Luxe candle size. Now that is the original Luxe, like the 80-ounce ones. I do know that Homeworx now offers the 50-ounce Luxe sizes, which I'm like, that's not as great of a value, but okay, whatever. But I do have that scent in the Luxe candle, and it's just one of my favorites. It smells like spun sugar, but there's the littlest, tiniest hint of lemon in it, and I think that it's just a great transitional scent as we are trying to get from winter into spring. Limoncello Cupcake from Homeworx. Now I do have 2 of these, or I did have 2 of these. You will notice on this one, you're like, wow, that looks a little strange. So what ended up happening? Well, it developed puny wick syndrome not even halfway through the burn on it, and it was so disappointing. However, I absolutely love this fragrance. If you have smelled, I don't think it's currently at Bath & Body Works. I haven't seen it, but I believe I saw a scent like this last year that it was like lemon cupcake, or it was like a lemon cupcake scent. The 2 are very, very similar to one another. So if you are familiar with that fragrance, then I think that you would like Limoncello Cupcake. This is another one that I think Homeworx has been keeping in stock regularly on the website. Now I will say, I picked this one up during the Black Friday sale. And the problem that I had with this, again, was the puny wick syndrome. So how did I rectify it, and why does it look the way that it does now? Well, what I ended up doing was I burned it. I let the wax, you know, pool out like that. And then what I did was I actually save some of my like 14-ounce jars, or I'll even, like, you could use like a mason jar or something like that. I save some of those, and if I have a candle that I really, really love the fragrance, but the wicks are getting puny like that, what I will do is I will go ahead and pour the wax, you know, I'll blow out the flame, do that first, pour the wax into that jar, and then I can go ahead and use it in my candle crock. So that's what I did with that one. I still do have another limoncello cupcake. I'm trying to do a couple of things differently with that one. I will tell you that this second limoncello cupcake, I'm having some issues with getting it to pool out. So I would say, I don't know. I purchased that one a few months ago now, so I would say maybe going forward, maybe they've recently poured some limoncello cupcake candles, but it just had some performance issues, but the scent itself is absolutely beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and talk about another Kringle candle that, okay, Mick, if you are watching this video and if you, or I don't know, if you're still at this part of the video, please, 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 please bring this scent back in the fall and winter. And it is the scent Holiday. This was offered in their limited edition Mercury vessels. Oh my word, I love this fragrance. Now I will caution you and say, this is not really a Christmas or holiday scent in my mind. This is very much a winter scent. It was warm. It was very bay leaf forward. It was glorious. And actually one of the reasons that I really liked it is because in the winter time, if you're like me, I'm eating a little bit more savory type of foods. And with that, I'm a busy mom. I've got 3 kids and a husband and a household to run. And a lot of the times I will turn to my crock pot to cook like pot roasts or stews or whatever. And sometimes I still want to burn a candle that will complement the fragrances that are coming out of the food that I am cooking. And I found that this candle was perfect. It's not really what I would label a gourmand scent, but it just enhanced the aroma of my home on a day when I had a hearty meal going, but I still wanted just a pretty vibe, I guess, going on in my home. That candle also had a very strong performance for me. It threw about a 9 for me. I could smell it pretty much all throughout my house, and it was a very quick thrower. I mean, I would light that up and within 10 minutes, I could already start smelling it, from the doorway. It was very strong. So please, Mick, if you're watching this or anybody on the Kringle team, please bring that one back. Really good. All right. Marshmallow Morning, I did a dedicated review on this one. It's a good candle. I'm glad that I've tried it out. I'm not really sure that it's one that I'm going to be clamoring to pick up again. I did say that it's a good blending candle. I wish that it was slightly stronger, but it was nice. And if you want, a little bit more information on that, you can go ahead and check out the dedicated review on that. You will notice that it did get a little bit sooty towards the end. And my friend Tiffany, I never even thought about this, but she was saying in one of her most recent videos that sometimes those Kringle jars, especially when they're in that 2-wick like tumbler format, sometimes as the candle gets down to the bottom, it will act like a hurricane and kind of catch any soot, so that the soot you're not necessarily getting soot in the atmosphere or in the air. The jar itself is catching that, and I never get soot really from the beginning part of it. It's usually just on like maybe those like final 2 burns that sometimes the 100% soy wax might get slightly sooty, but it's actually still a very rare occurrence for me. All right, 2 more candles, you guys, and then we're almost done here. Yankee's Holiday Zest. Now, this last winter was the first time that I turned back to trying out more Yankee because I was hearing some good things about the signature collection. I picked up Holiday Zest on Black Friday. It was like $12 for the 3-wick candle, which I thought was a pretty good deal. And I'm going to tell you guys, I really liked that candle. I really enjoyed it. It burned pretty well for me. Again, that last 1/4 of the burn, it developed puny wick syndrome on me, which, you know what, it actually lasted a pretty good amount of time for me, so I'm not going to fault it. It did not get sooty. The strength and throw on it was pretty good. It was about a 6, so it wasn't a powerhouse, but it was that one that I enjoyed burning in my bedroom, and I could smell it in there. The scent itself is like that orange pomander type of scent. It was probably, to be honest with you, it was probably one of my favorite orange pomander vibe type of scents over this past winter, and it is one that I would consider picking up again going into next winter. And finally, the candle that I did a review on last week, this is Homeworx birthday cake. You guys know that both of my daughters celebrated birthdays last week, so I was burning this one a lot. Just, you know, we were in a celebratory mood, and I'm not gonna go into too much detail about that one because I did just cover all of that in my dedicated review. So if you want more information about that one, it is one that I would go ahead and repurchase, but this particular candle I did have just some like, the first part of it was a pretty good burn for me, but the last like 3 burns on it, it took on that like sooty carbon residue type of smell and just kind of ruined the fragrance. So that is it. Whew, that was a mouthful. That was a lot of candles to get through, but let me know in the comment box down below, do you appreciate candle empty videos? I think that these are sometimes the best reviews. Just letting you know like what you can expect if you have some of these in your collection already, or like I have always said, make sure that if you have had different experiences with any of these candles that you chime in the comment box down below, because I am only one person. Sure, there's several of us who do some content involving candle burning, but a lot of you guys, just because you don't have a YouTube channel doesn't mean that we don't want to hear your voices or that they don't matter. And I think that a lot of us can gain a lot of insight about what the community as a whole is chiming in and saying. So I always encourage you to leave comments down below. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me out. And again, if this is your first time coming across my channel and you liked this style of video, I also do hauls, I do dedicated reviews. I throw in a little bit of beauty here on my channel because that is something else that I also enjoy. If that kind of content sounds like stuff that you are interested in, please make sure you hit that subscribe button before you head on out of here. I want to say thank you so much for spending your time here with me today, and until my next video, you guys all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.